Hello, my beautiful friends, and namaste. I'm Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy forecast for the week of March the 4th, 2024. Now, this is an interesting week, as they have been lately, right? We're dealing with a lot of new energies. We're dealing with some of that new Aquarius energy. We're managing Saturn moving through some new degrees of Pisces. And of course, we are engaged in the process of seeing what isn't working and how it needs to be healed in our relationships with the karmic movement of the nodes of the moon through Aries and Libra and the co-presence of Chiron in Aries, traveling so close to that north node and so therefore directly across the sky from the south node. Now, this is a new moon week and a very interesting new moon at that. It's in the sign of Pisces. There are also a couple really long moon voids, and I've been talking to you a lot about that, but I will continue to. I think it's important to point those out. So, as we begin the week, Monday, March the 4th, the moon is void from 10:41 a.m. Eastern until 4:15 p.m. Eastern. Please adjust that for your time zone, but this is not a time to gain traction. Now, Mercury is sending beautiful energy to Uranus on this day, and so today you might just want to put down, like, just a keyword might be ideas. Look for the spark of insight. Look for that, when Mercury's in Pisces, it's not necessarily a logical type of thinking. It's an imaginative type thinking, but with that blessing to the Uranus and Taurus, you can come up with a magical synchronicity, so pay attention to those things that happen that day. Add in something with repetitive motion, sweeping, shoveling, chopping, walking. Those repetitive movements really can put you in a receptive state of mind. So that could be really helpful for you as you start the week. Tuesday the 5th, we have a beautiful blessing from Mars and Aquarius to the nodes. This is, again, very inspiring. It also connects well with Chiron, and so doing the work. Again, looking at what's going on in the collective, how is that reflecting back to you where the inner healing and work needs to take place, right? There's a lot of pain in the world, and we're really seeing it part of the information age, right? We are aware of so much more suffering, not just those around us, but the collective at large. And so this might give us an idea of how we can heal ourselves in order to heal the collective. Now, as we get to the middle of the week, we've got another moon void on the 6th, 2:35 p.m. to 7:38 p.m. And then we start to pick up some tension between Mars and Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. Now, this tense energy between Mars and Uranus can bring accidents. Uranus is representative of the higher octave of Mercury, and so sometimes Uranus can relate to the higher levels of technology. And so from 6, 7, 8, even into the 9th, be careful with flights, be careful with driving, be careful with any types of technologies. And we may see some of this in the world at large as well. Remember, we're having some of these first contacts from Aquarius to other planets, anything traversing through Aquarius with Pluto there as well. And so there's some messages here. Unfortunately, some of them might not be positive this week, but try to stay alert so that you can take care of yourself. Now, during the same difficult Mars-Uranus aspect, we have Mercury beginning to merge with Neptune. Now, Neptune loves to be in Pisces. Very happy there, very comfortable, very, glamorous, inspired, and just so immersive, right? And Mercury is like, I can't swim, okay? But so there's two ways this energy could really express itself. It could be so inspiring, but it also could really give you the urge to block, to not want to feel, to check out in whatever method that you do that. It can also bring, I think, a sense of mental exhaustion and uncertainty that can be somewhat uncomfortable. So if you feel that at all, at least understand that you're moving through that. Mercury will move on pretty rapidly, but take those couple days just to be kind to yourself, especially because we've got those moon voids on top of it. All right. Again, another long moon void, March the 8th from 1:56 p.m. Eastern until 8:03. All right. And that Mercury Neptune. So make sure you're scheduling time for creative work, because linear thinking, it's going to be really hard to get on track. All right. Then we have another really lovely energy. On the 9th, we have the sun in Pisces, sextile to Uranus. Uranus getting a lot of work out this week. So that Taurus area of your life really getting pinged with both inspiration and a little bit of, uncertainty as well. So there could be some ups and downs this week financially, with resources, money, all those types of things. Really pay attention and, trust your intuition. Take time to meditate. Take time to know how to react or how not to react to some of these energies. All right, late on the 9th, Mercury will move into Aries, and suddenly we're getting a lot more of a mental Aries vibe, a little bit more of a warrior vibe. And as we wrap up the week on the 10th, we have our new moon. It's 20 degrees, 17 minutes of the sign at Pisces. It's at 5 a.m. Eastern. Adjust for your time zone. But take note, if you're going to ritualize this new moon, the moon voids that afternoon at 3:45 p.m. Eastern until 8:19 p.m. Eastern. And so ritualize before that. It is picking up, it's a new moon with picking up that beautiful Sun Uranus aspect, a nice Jupiter Saturn aspect that's, kind of wrapping up, but it still has that tense Mars Uranus. And so I think this is a new moon that is worthy of devoting time and energy to ritualize and decide, what do you want to create? What do you want to birth in the Pisces area of life? Now, if you're not sure where Pisces is in your chart, then perhaps you can just go with the general aspects of Pisces, which is the deepest subconscious patternings, how to redo from the inside out. If you ever make choices, and we all do sometimes, if you ever make choices that are not in alignment with your best interests, beginning to understand what triggers those things. Is it lineage karma? Is it something that your family dealt with? Is it something that you adopted? Is it something that you've been unaware of? Make it come into your consciousness and choose. Choose to go another way. Choose yourself. Choose what's best, right? There can be this idea that there's some great nobility in suffering, or in you not being the best possible you, or you not being successful. There can be this shadow that makes us want to hide our light. And so in this Pisces new moon, you may wish to be able to step out of that shadow and embrace the deepest patternings within you that make the best possible choices for you. Now this week, I would say for our ways to embrace the light is to really allow the world to reflect you what changes need to be made within you. Perhaps it's the things that bother you the most that are happening in the world, the things that make you the most upset and angry. Root those things out in yourself. That is how we change the world. Now, the next thing you could do is really be inspired this week. There's a lot of inspirational, idea-generating energy. So make sure that you have time for this. And I mentioned this just because I noticed I've been doing it lately. I tend to, if I have any free time, or even time when I'm doing something mindless, like, making dinner, or, folding laundry, I often am listening to something. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm listening to a YouTube, right? Try to clear a little space this week so that you can have your own inspiration, your own downloads. This would be a marvelous new moon to do a mind map, to do, a vision board. Check my blog. I have a whole blog on that. So it's something like that. And then finally, initiate in that Pisces area of life. If you know where Pisces is, look for the two little curves with the line in the middle. That is the sign that represents the two fishes moving in the opposite direction. That is where, that is the area of life to launch your new initiatives. Now, to observe the shadow, the lower vibrational aspects of this week, I want you to be careful and cautious with technology of any type, and travel. You know what I mean? Technology and travel, I would like you to be a little bit more cautious and careful with that. I also don't want you to check out. Don't just ignore. Just don't say, everything is overwhelming me. I'm going to fall into this, bottle of wine. I'm going to fall into this Netflix series. I'm just going to disappear, and it'll be better when I come out. I understand you need time to relax and things like that, but this is a week that could take you way down the drain, and you could end up in a really dark place, all right? So don't go there. Don't go to that dark place. Stay in the light. And then finally, be prepared for weather events as well. With all this activation of Uranus, and Uranus being in Taurus, shocking, sudden weather-related events, always the potential. this week a little stronger. So make sure that you've got your backup systems. And if you have not started to prepare those backup systems, I highly recommend you do. I do have I have YouTube on astrology and preparedness. I have a lot of recommendations. You know, you've got to look after you and yours, okay? And that way, if somebody needs help, you're in a strong position to do so. All right, let's check out the tarot, and I'll see you there. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to your Isis Lotus Tarot spread for the week of March the 4th, 2024. All right. We are beginning to feel that shift, the distinct shift between energy in Pisces into the energy of Aries, right? From water to fire. So let's see what the Lotus indicates for us this week. Reading for the collective, 2 different ways to work with the energy. All right, ready to roll. The first card is the basic influence of the past. 7 of Cups. All right, mildly hilarious because this was one of the outcomes for last week, but we are making decisions. There are choices to be made, and you are the Queen of Cups. Now, even if you don't identify as a female, this is a woman who is, or it's just feminine energy, who is very intuitive, very caring, very service-oriented, very emotionally present for her people, right? And the environment that you're in, temperance. So temperance is all about moderation, balance, okay? Not too much, not too little. And then as these energies culminate, Knight of Wands, there's some action. Could also be some anger, some energy, some fierceness. You know, this is very much an Aries card, right? Knight of Wands. Key card of the future, 9 of Pentacles. The independent woman card, I like to call it. So this is about the empowerment of the divine feminine, about the divine feminine being able to make her own choices, support herself, right? This is a woman who creates her own opportunities and comes from a place of wholeness. It doesn't mean she's not pair bonded, but she's the decision maker, right? Page of Wands is our first variation on that, which is initiating, right? New beginnings. And then there's the Star as the other option. So you're this independent person, right? Again, male or female, but embodying those feminine qualities, right? This is what's showing all the nature around her, etc. So you're either in this like idea stage of wanting to initiate something, or the Star phase, which means you're picking up the pieces after something fell apart. All right, it's a card of optimism. It really is. All right, the next key card is the 2 of Swords. There is something you're not seeing. So what is it? You know, and this is a self-deception card. I really look at this as being like, yeah, if you were paying attention, if you were, you know, trying to be honest with yourself, you would know that this problem exists. So what is it, right? Don't delude yourself. On the Page of Wands side, the Knight of Swords shows up to tell you, hey, you can be intellectually responsible, smart and savvy, and remove those swords from your eyes. The other side, choices. So once again, you're at a crossroads, okay? This is the way it goes, right? You move in a certain direction, and every so often, there's a fork in the road. You have to decide which way you're going to go. Now, paired with that Knight of Swords, we have the Devil. Now, this could indicate some trouble, all right? So what is it that you're willfully not seeing that could be related to obsession, addiction, right? When we talk about Aries energy, this can be some of the shadows of that the darkness of passion. And on the 2 of Wands Star side, we've got the 10 of Wands, doing things the hard way, all right? Looks like either way, there's some definite tricky energy to be negotiated here. So outcomes, 2 outcomes, strength on the Page of Wands side. So be more compassionate, be more patient. Don't be pushing, forcing, requiring, right? There's subtleties that need to be involved. Over on the Star side, we've got the High Priestess. Spiritualize it, pray about it, meditate, speak to your guides, ask for help, connect to the beyond, have some perspective. With that Strength card, we have the Eight of Cups. So what is it that you're still trying to make something work that's not working, right? So you've got to move on to the next thing, paired with the High Priestess, Page of Pentacles. So some more new beginnings, okay? You make the decision, try not to make it harder than you need to be. Pray, meditate, connect, and then move forward. All right, looks like two very, very different ways to work with the energy this week, but you're starting off with having to make a choice. You're going to need to be intuitive, but moderate, okay? There could be some anger, some upset, or at least a drive to move in one direction. You need to be responsible for you. Stop giving away your power. On this side, you're initiating, okay? But in order to do that, you need to see things clearly, all right? Pull the blinders away so that you gain clarity, so you can know what direction to move in. But watch out for tricky people. You will need to be patient. You will need to be gentle, especially with yourself, but eventually you've got to move on. On the other side, we've got this healing. We've like, oh, okay, well, I know I've got to put things together, okay? I've got to look at what I'm going to build out of what is left of the past, okay? What am I not seeing? I might willfully not want to think that I have to make another choice. I have to make another decision. Aren't I picking up the pieces from the last decision? Maybe, but you still have to make a decision, and you might need help. You might need to ask others to help you. You can't maybe do it all yourself, or you just have to say, look, I gotta not just work hard, I gotta work smart. And then I've got to connect to the cosmos. I've got to seek out the help of my guides, and then I will know the direction to move in. Page of Pentacles. I might not get there this week, but I'll end up with my my compass heading, my new compass heading. That's where I'm kind of feeling this week. All right, well, wow, interesting tarot. I hope this was helpful. If it was, drop me a comment. I would love to hear from you. Posting new blogs, new content on my website all the time, so check that out, and I appreciate your support. I'll see you next week. Bye.